Okay, at this time, we're going to have the president's report.
Yes, so, we typically have, and we may change this in the future a little bit, but we've typically gone from our generation all the way down to the customer, and I'll talk a little bit about some items that's been going on in the district. Relative to our generation side, Nebraska City 1 was removed from service on May 11th due to a boiler tube leak in the lower throat area of the furnace. John can give us a description of where that is if we need to do that. But it actually was pretty important. It returned to service on May 16th, and it actually completed a continuous operation run of 287 days. 9+ months, which was the longest duration of a continuous operation since the history of the unit. So very complimentary of the station staff and the maintenance group and John and his team for that as well. And obviously, as you heard today, we're preparing for the new DSI and ACI equipment installation, and that's will be beginning very shortly here. So that's very positive. North Omaha, over the course of the last month, operated incredibly well, even with some of the severe reserve shutdowns due to market demand and pricing, but operated really well. We did have a couple unit outages that occurred there on Unit 2 and Unit 4, but the team did a great job of bringing them back up to speed and available for the market. Work continues on unit number 3. Now that actually may be done and reassembled today. So I think it's due today to be back in service. And so that work has gone incredibly well, and that was a pretty significant maintenance that we had to do here. And I know Mr. Morrison is here in central maintenance, so we'll give him a little applaud. The electricians in central maintenance surpassed 2 years without a recordable injury on May 7th, and the machine shop surpassed 5 years without a dart injury on May 1st. So congratulations to Keith and his team for that. Please pass on my thanks to the team. And obviously, when we have outages, whether it's at Fort Calhoun on a scheduled outage or an emergent outage, central maintenance supported over 6 outages during the month, 21 year to date. So they've been doing significant amount of work across our whole fleet as well. Energy trading for the month, the renewable energy contributed to 19.5% of OPPD's overall retail sales. The wind capacity factor was 45.2%. If you remember what we talked about last month, it was around 50%. So we're getting into that summer time frame. Even though it's not hot like summer yet, we're getting in that summer time frame where we'll see less wind capacity during the summer and the heat of the days. Year to date, renewable energy contributed to 19.6%, and the wind capacity year to date has been 50.7%. And I think at this point in time, there was obviously an article in the World Herald. But there's a story behind the story with our Vice President John Hanson, who actually built our Peregrine Falcon. We always give him a hard time that we think he placed him up there because for many years pigeons and other things starlings were up there. But John, you want to talk a little bit about our Peregrine Falcon project?
And the history.
Yeah.
Sure. So back in 2003, my wife had her 40th birthday. She probably wouldn't like me telling you that because you can figure her age out. But we went up to Stillwater, Minnesota, which is on the outskirts of St. Paul and Twin Cities. And like any good power plant engineer or power plant person, you notice the power plants that are in the neighborhood, right? So there was a plant, Allen King Station, that was just down the road, and you start looking at it and kind of wondering what all they got there and how big it is. And so when we got back home from that, I went on their website and looked at the plant and kind of determined the size. And they had a Peregrine Falcon webcam, which I thought was really cool. So I made a phone call to the plant manager there, and we talked about it. And he gave me some insight as to what to do there. So we got back. I got back and had our people at the plant build a couple nest boxes. We put one up on the A stack, which is the southernmost, and then one on the top of the turbine building. And then I placed a couple calls to some folks with Fish and Wildlife here and asked them, what do I got to do to get the birds to start coming and not the pigeons and the starlings? And I kind of wanted to get a peregrine and place kind of a seed peregrine, right? They said, no, that's not the way it works. They said, if you build it, they will come. I mean, that was kind of the Field of Dreams pep talk for me. I said, okay, so we built it. And sure enough, nothing came for years. And just last fall, our employees at the plant started to see what they thought was a hawk up there or some kind of raptor. And then they found a feather and went and took that in, and sure enough, it was a peregrine falcon. And so we had 3 young chicks up there, a mom and a dad, and yeah, it's a great thing to see that. And I think it's kind of neat. I mean, I think it's energized the employees up there. They've kind of adopted the family too, so that's a really neat story. So thanks.
I really think this highlights a couple of things. It's really our focus on, and really our social responsibility and our ongoing focus on what's going on in the environment, and we do this all over the place. And this is just another great example, but it also tells you what utility folks do when they're on wedding anniversary vacations, where you always look at power plants and transmission lines and all those kinds of things. Exactly.
And John's also on the board at Fontenelle Forest, and I'm sure you're gonna figure out something to bring that in. Have Fontenelle Forest be a partner up there with you on that.
So back to our generation, a little bit. Fort Calhoun was shut down on April 11th for the start of its 27th refueling outage. The station synced to the grid on June 10th. And is currently in mode 1, which is 100% operation. And so we have been at 100% since June 14th. The duration of the outage was 59 days, a little bit longer than what was originally planned, about 15 days longer than planned or anticipated. But we will be, and the board got a brief debrief at the board committee meeting on Tuesday, and we'll get a deeper debrief in the upcoming months regarding that. There were some very good things that occurred that was scheduled to occur, things like the reactor head placement, the breaker work that we were doing up there on the 4 kV breakers, and other related work that was scheduled and gone really well. Safety and contamination and all those kinds of things was very, very strong. And so we'll continue that. We'll talk a little bit about that debrief in the upcoming months. On our T&D side, downtown manholes and vaults inspections have been completed. There was a story on the news as well as the work that we were doing. It's really our part of our ongoing commitment for customer service and reliability. And we partnered with somebody who could do those relative to cameras rather than people getting in and creating a potential safety situation. So we're gathering that information. We're identifying the work that we need to do on that. And so Mo Dogman and his team have done a great job with that. And we've really coordinated with the downtown business community and communicated with them about what we were doing and why we were doing it, and really the intent on that. So it was a very, very positive project. The Elkhorn River Valley Transmission Project, which is a project between Fremont Department of Utilities and Omaha Public Power District, or the City of Fremont and OPPD, is really to build a transmission line between kind of Fort Calhoun Nuclear Station or Blair and Fremont. We are in the stakeholder process there. We essentially are in phase 1, where we have held multiple open houses, met with local leaders. We're beginning with phase 2 meetings. They concluded in May. We'll identify a potential route, and then we'll go back out in phase 3 and meet with the public and the community again and talk about those relative options. That project is going very well. We've gotten great feedback from the consumers that have attended and the community leaders that have participated in that. And this really helps with our reliability up in that area as well, not only for Fremont Municipal Utilities, but also for OPPD as well. On June 4th, we had a storm that moved through, and for most of us in the metro area, it didn't seem to be really a bad storm. It kind of blew through and not a lot of impact. But obviously in our south rural area, we had some microbursts that actually knocked down 13 69 kV structures on the line from Peru to Cooper Nuclear Station. Approximately 550 customers were without service for a couple hours, but it actually is taking a couple weeks to complete. I think we're winding up the completion of that back in service. We were able to switch around, but terrible muddy conditions. And if you know, about after June 4th, we continued to see rain, and we were using bulldozers to pull our trucks through the mud to restore those pole structures. So a lot of great work and by Mo and John Moeller's team and others at the district as well. On the finance side, as you heard briefing on Tuesday, we are now a successful, we have a successful membership with a group called Amani, which is the European Mutual Association for Nuclear Insurance. What you didn't hear is the story of the team that had to go and sell our membership. And so John Thurber and Lisa Huff had to go to essentially present OPPD and the reason why we need to have membership in this. There was also a couple-day inspection that occurred at the plant. We received one of the highest essentially responses from Amani on our plan. It was very positive. And our team essentially had to fly to their annual meeting to make this presentation, and their luggage got lost. They slept in a hotel for 24 hours, and they had to make the presentation in the same clothes they were traveling with over 48 hours. So that gives you an idea of the dedication of the OPPD folks, and that's why Lisa was still a little bit tired on Tuesday, because I think she just got back this weekend. So great work. This really gives us the ability to reduce our insurance premiums and diversify that, and it's good for all of our customer owners and as well as for our risk management at the plant and for the district. We also housed a Nebraska City 2 participant meeting. So all the participants of Nebraska City 2 met on June 10th to kind of review station performance, also look at some of the capital projects planned, as well as some of the financial and bond information and what's going on in the SPP integrated marketplace. It was a great opportunity for me early on in the process. I knew most of the partners, but some of them have changed names and positions, and it was a great opportunity for me to meet them as well. And so John and Edward's team did a great job of a presentation, and it was a very positive meeting with very little concern or issues by our partners. On the customer side, 2 demand-side management programs were launched in June. The residential high-efficiency heating, ventilating, and air conditioning program, now branded as the HVAC Smart, launched at the beginning of June. And this program offers rebates for the purchase of high-efficiency air conditioners and heat pumps. And for our existing commercial and industrial customers, we included high-efficiency HVAC equipment rebates to our lighting program as well. That's called the Energy Efficiency Partner Program. We're receiving great response from our customers on that. And the board will hear a briefing next month, kind of where we are on the status and the upcoming, that's just for Julie and Lisa to know about, to essentially give a briefing on the upcoming program launch that we have relative to the demand-side management programs. And one of the cooperation things between Mo's team and the customer service team that we have is working very closely with our customers. And so with the College World Series, I'm going to knock on wood because I don't want to jinx this, but obviously we work with Mecca and the College World Series staff and the CWS to make sure that we're in a position to make sure that we have reliable power for TD Ameritrade Stadium during these nationally and internationally publicized events. And so we met with Mecca, both our operating team and our customer team, Steve Fanslaw and our account executives, along with Mo's team. They did a great job, and we put together plan, logistics in case there were an issue, main topics for discussion and dialogue. We actually have a video on that we've shared over the past couple years, but it's a great opportunity of just the things that nobody ever sees, but all the work that goes into those kinds of events. And so we do that for all these publicly and nationally televised events that we do incredibly well. And so great work by our team. And just yesterday, I had the opportunity to attend with Mr. O'Brien and his economic development staff 14 other guests around the country who are really thought leaders in the industry around data centers and information technology and those kinds of things. It was really an opportunity for us to hear some really interesting feedback from customers. I will let you know, it was kind of interesting because I was not on the panel, but the panel talked to 2 of our current customers that have landed in Omaha here, and specifically asked them about their power quality. Have you had any outages or power quality or blips or related issues? And one said, absolutely not. It's been wonderful. It's the best site we've had. The other one said we had one blip, but it was on our side. It wasn't OPPD side. And so whenever that question is asked that directly, you get a little nervous. But I knew the answer, actually, to both of them very well. So great work by our team, but it's an opportunity for us to participate in that ongoing recruitment of businesses in our area. And Tim O'Brien is here as well. And he was named the 2015 Nebraska Economic Developer Association Professional of the Year in some of the great work that he's done. And some of the notable projects that he's helped with was with the Yahoo project across the state, some of the large data centers on Fidelity and Travelers. He's also been pretty involved with John's team on the Arbor Line placement for the cooperative that's going to put a facility down near Syracuse, and also some of the work that we're doing with the Greater Omaha Partnership on site development. So Mr. O'Brien got that Professional Developers of the Year, and that's a great recognition for his work. Just about done. But just a couple things that you maybe sometimes don't hear about. It's the way our employees really focus around the neighborhoods and the communities that they serve. We had an employee that works at Fort Calhoun, Molly Stewart, who's a senior radiation protection technician. She woke up on May 13th to let her dog out and get ready to go to work, and she saw the neighbor's deck on fire. And so she went and essentially woke the neighbors up, got the neighbors out, and then essentially put out the fire with a garden hose on the side of the house. So, we're in harm's way every single day at work, and we have individuals that do that certainly on their own. So great, contribution from Molly, not only at OPPD but in her community, and I just love her quote that was given. She said, I lived next to these neighbors in Herman for 7 years, and they've been very grateful that they were very grateful that I was able to get them up for work that early, but also put out a fire on their deck. So anyway, this was at 4:30 in the morning. So anyway. Yeah,
Average hours for Fort Calhoun.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Just a couple other items real quick. OPPD will be a partner in the NAACP parade that's going to occur on June 27th. It's called Juneteenth, and the event is celebrated across the country and is the oldest known celebration commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. We've been a partner with them the last couple years, and so if there are any volunteers either in the audience or on the board that want to participate in that, please let Kim Tracy know or let our corporate communication staff know. We'd love to have you part of that, and so we'll have a great representation as we always have. Tim Nissen, who's our division manager of substation operation, was actually selected to participate in Leadership Nebraska, and he's one of 28 Nebraskans selected to participate in this class. It's class number 8, and so Tim has been with the company for 30 years, and it's a great opportunity for him to hear about what's going on throughout the state of Nebraska. And Julie Comstock actually was our last year's graduate as well. And then finally, OPPD will be sponsoring the AAA Home Run Derby, but it's actually just bigger than that. What we have done is kind of worked with the Werner folks and the Omaha Storm Chasers to really find a way where we can do a family fun event to raise money for awareness for OPPD's Energy Assistance Program. So Werner will donate to EAP each time an orange OPPD baseball is hit over the fence. And I think it actually has OPPD on it as well, raising up to $5,000 for the cause. And so we will also be able to auction off an all-star jersey, a signed baseball, both for the Pacific and the International League baseball teams, with all the proceeds going to EAP. We will also be there to do our electric safety related work with our safety trailer and an opportunity to talk about our demand side management and other products that we have. So it's a great opportunity for us. And this will be over a multiple day event, including will be promoted through that over the course of the 3 days that the Home Run Derby is here and then the All-Star Game. So it's a great opportunity for us to play a role in that great activity. And with that, that concludes my State of the Utility.
Thank you.